but you have to figure out what gets you in the zone, right? And I would tell you this. What do you do in practice that's different than you do in matches?
I would say I'm way more warm. I'm, you know, I'm looser. I'm more relaxed. Definitely more
Okay.
relaxed. Like, man, before a match, like at the U.S. Open last year, I was like strung out. Like I was thinking
Okay.
a million miles an hour.
All right. So here's the deal, right? What caused you to think a million miles an hour? Just the fact that you were at the U.S. Open?
And just,
Okay. Easy,
to be,
dog.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
easy, bro. You haven't been there before, right?
Yeah, and just like,
Okay. So
like
listen,
first
listen,
time on the senior circuit, I don't
listen,
want to, yeah.
listen. Remember what I told you. What I tell you the key is. What I tell you the key is.
You can't think, no sports think.
No. What I tell you about the key to the process is
I got to take a
listen.
quantum shift.
You got to make quantum shift, but you got to listen and
Yeah.
then
Oh,
take
and do what they
action
tell
and
me.
apply it.
Yeah.
Right? You're not listening right now. Okay. So what I would tell you, we're not wrestling this summer, correct?
No.
Okay. Do you have resources, or you come from you got enough money to go to some tournaments and just watch?
Yeah.
Okay. So then pick 2 high-level world tournaments. Maybe talk to your coach. Maybe just get on the plane as a dummy and just go watch. Okay. And pick somebody in the tournament and prepare and get ready through them. Right. So you won't wrestle matches, but you'll be in the environment. And pretty soon you'll become norm to the environment. Trust me, bro, when I got in the SEAL teams, that first immediate action drill, I almost crapped my pants, man, straight up. Like, it was the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, my stress, and my senior chief had told me, just grab my belt. If anything happens, you get scared, whatever, grab my belt. I was holding on his belt for dear life. And then 2 weeks later, I'm standing in the middle of it like, oh, man, okay, here we go. Right? Like, you got to get your body accustomed to what you're seeing. You can't just – no one steps in the arena the first time and is just a superstar. Okay? And I do it with my specialist, the specialist here at Illinois. You know, we have books on every stadium that we're going to play in. So they can – like, they literally take picture books. We call picture books with their phone, and they take picture of every stadium from every hash in the middle from every yard line.
Wow.
So then they can visualize, hey, I'm on left hash 43-yard line. I look at my picture. Okay, that's what I'm going to see. Boom. So when I get in the game, I've kicked that kick 50 times. Okay, you could do the same thing, right? All of this stuff, all I'm approaching right now is the mental aspect of you being ready to wrestle, just like you were wrestling in the room. For me, it was the exact opposite. I should have spent a lot more time getting ready for practice so that I could wrestle at a higher level in practice than competition, right? But I didn't understand that really. Like, the SEAL teams elevated my athletic ability and my athletic capacity probably 5 times. And it wasn't physically, it was all the mental stuff that I learned, right?
Wow.
Okay. So what I would tell you, one thing I'm gonna teach you one thing, okay? And then I'm gonna tell you my 2 stories, but I'm gonna teach you one thing. So remind me at the end, I'm gonna teach you violence of action. Because in my opinion, it's probably the largest quantum shift that I learned in the SEAL teams for athletic preparation or, fight or flight or just getting ready to go to combat. Okay. So what I want to talk to you about, though, you have all the resources. You got all the guys, right? Miles Martin, Kyle Snyder. You got access to everybody. Your coach, okay? Sit down. And then what I would tell you is you got to figure out how to be loosey-goosey when you go out to wrestle. And we'll talk about that, okay? Because I'm going to talk about my preparation then and my preparation now, okay? And we'll do that when we get to violence action. So what I wanted to tell you is you got to change the whole script, right? So my sophomore year, I went 43, 44, and 5, right? Lost 1 regular season match. That was the last match I lost to Jeff Amick. And then I lost 2 matches at regionals, 2 matches at state. I was like you, first year at state. I was like, oh my God. I won a match. Like we got back on the bus to go home after the first day I was out because there was only 2 of us there. And I was like, man, that didn't go so well. Right. But then repeat, my second year, I transferred high schools to Charles Wright, and I got there. The wrestling room sucked. It was in the middle of the wood dome. It was hot. It was cold. I mean, like you could wear 5 layers of sweats and maybe lose a pound in practice. Practice was easy. Like I was the best kid on the team by 5 miles. I beat the heavyweight. I was wrestling 120, 135 my junior year. I beat the heavyweight all the time. Okay, so I was there and I had a lot of success, right? I didn't lose a regular season match. I won league again. I got the regionals. I lost 2 matches. Boom. Turn around, get the state, beat the #1 ranked wrestler, turn around, lose 2 matches, lose a match, and then I lose another match and I'm out, right? So the quarterfinals I lose, and then I go to the next match, I'm out. Boom, I'm done, okay? And I'm like, yo, like I stomped some people my sophomore year. I stomped some people my junior year, okay? Why can't I beat them at state? So like me, I don't care. Like I'm going to do what I think is best. I'm going to make a plan. I'm going to try to stick to the plan the best I can, okay? So long story short, I said, you know what? I wrestled like 49 matches my junior year. I said, I'm out of gas at the end. I'm cutting all this weight. It's hurting me. Like I'm going from, like back then I was going from like 45 to 35, right? And I was doing all this stuff and it just wasn't productive to a long season. And then I said, well, I'm coming out the gate on fire. Okay, so I said, boom, took a step back. I want to win a state title with less than 20 matches. Okay, you know the math. You got 3 matches at regional or at districts. You got 3 matches at regionals if you win all 3 of them.
Yep.
So that's 6. And then you got 4 matches at state. That's 10 matches right there. So you got to start at districts with less than 9 matches, basically. So yeah. I told my coach, I said, listen, coach, I'm not wrestling, man. He's like, Jake, like, you got to. I said, listen, man, I ain't worried about you in the team. I'm not worried about none of that stuff, okay? I'm winning a state title this year. And for me to win a state title, I can't wrestle until after Christmas, okay? So the good thing was that year we went to the state finals in football, so we played football until early December. And so then I had basically a month, about 5 weeks where I went and wrestled my butt off, but I didn't compete. I didn't make weight. I didn't do nothing. So in the middle of Christmas, did you guys go wrestle in any other high schools during Christmas?
Honestly, my coach asked me to, but I said I don't think it's a good idea, so we didn't do that in high school.
Okay, so the difference between you and me, right? And this, I'm telling you this so that you can understand. I jumped at the opportunity to go to other high schools and wrestle.
Yeah.
Let's go to Clover Park. We went to Clover Park. It was awesome. But then we went to Timberline.
I know Timberline, yep.
Yeah, we went to Timberline. Greg Ford was there. Greg Ford was on a world team in the 70s, okay? He's African-American, never said a word, ever, okay? And I lost 14 pounds in practice. I was the only person from Charles Wright to finish practice. And then at the end of practice, I won every sprint, okay? It was like 2.5 hours. When I tell you like 14 pounds, I was like, oh my, like, man, this is just Jay Robinson wrestling camp right here. So I was on my way home. I was driving home. We all drove there separately because at Charles Wright, everybody lives all over the place. I was driving home and I said, yo, I need that every day. Right? Every day I need that. So I went to my mom. I said, Mom, I'm going to go to Timberline every day after school and wrestle. She was like, okay. And so somehow she had Greg Ford's phone number. She called Greg Ford. And he was like, as long as your coach is okay with it, I'm fine with it. So that next day, that was like, we're at Christmas break. I called my coach. I said, listen, coach. I said, I got to make a break. He's like, what do you mean? I said, I'm gonna go wrestle every day at Timberline. He's like, Jake, like, we're going to make you a team captain. And we can't do that if you go to Timberline. I was like, that's fine. I don't need to be a team captain. We're good. Okay. So I start going to Timberline every day. I'm weighing like 64 normally, okay? I'm wrestling 48. I'm coming out, practice 50, 51. I get a Slurpee, right? You 2 pounds, you 2 pounds overweight, you get a Slurpee, right? Like, boom, I drink a Slurpee on the way home. I get a little dinner, get up for my morning run, hit the weights at lunch, go back to practice, right? Now, I skipped English every day, okay? I couldn't read and write anyway, so it didn't really matter. But I did some things like I want to win a state title. That's all I wanted to do. Yeah. So long story short, I go to regionals, I win regionals. Boom. I go to state the first day, trash the first dude. I'm losing the second dude, right? You can watch the whole my state championship run on YouTube. I'm losing, okay? I'm like, what am I doing? I'm out there thinking. I'm all stressed up and tight. And then I'm losing, so you got to cut it loose if you're losing, right? Bam, 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 boom. Walk out. I walk out of there with it. Like 15 seconds left, okay? So I ate whatever I wanted the first day. And this goes back to craziness, right? Like, you don't know what you're doing. So I weighed 162 pounds after the first day. I had to weigh in at 49 the next morning. So instead of doing weight the right way, I just ran off and on, 15 minutes on, 25, 30 minutes off until I stopped sweating. I broke into the second level of the Tacoma Dome, and I ran laps for 4.5 hours, okay? With a trash bag on, right? You know I have my plastics on, okay?
Yeah.
So then I went down, I weighed in. I was like 51. I was like, shit, we good. Went home. Woke up in the morning, came in for weigh-ins, was on weight, didn't have to do nothing else, made weight. Boom, hit the water and the high carbohydrate seed that I had. And then I wrestled my semifinals match probably, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. And shoot, I was down in that match like 3-0, right? And so I was thinking again, I was all tight. I had to cut it loose, right? Third period, I had to pick both up. I hated both up. Right? I hated to be on my feet. Had to pick both up. Took him down. Rest was history, right? I got a W by 1 point. Okay? So then I had roughly from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Like the finals started like 7:30, right? Yeah. But I knew like I had to be there for the procession or whatever to walk out at 7:30. So I told my coach and everybody else, I'm going home. Right? I live 20 minutes from the Tacoma Dome.
Yep.
So I went home. It was like a normal Saturday to me, man. I hung out, talked to my boys, kind of chilled a little bit. I went to the movies in the afternoon, caught a movie. And then about 5 o'clock, I drove back to Tacoma Dome, right?
That's awesome.
I didn't have, there was no pressure on me, man. Like everybody asked, I didn't feel no pressure winning the state title. Right? Because I had been there so many times in my head, and I just didn't feel no pressure, right? Like, I'm not a big pressure dude. Pressure don't get to me, really. So, boom, I showed up. He got a penalty. It said 1-0, boom. I turned him in the second period, went up 3-1, 3-1 or 3-2, whatever it was. And then I told you the third period, I just held his hands together, wouldn't let him get away. I watched Stoney Myers and Jason Muggy over there on the other man, right? So when I look back at that, I made a quantum shift in the workload, the intensity, and in just the fact that I didn't wrestle. I won state. I was 19-0. Okay? It was crazy because they were talking about on the announcement. Jake Zweig enters a tournament at 12-0. This is like, he hasn't even wrestled this year. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, yeah, I'm good. That's the plan, right? Like, that's the plan.